What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And yeah, it happened. It was inevitable. You don't get to go out and have fun forever without breaking down. So today we're gonna go over everything that I've broken in the past few trails or past few months, and we're basically gonna cover everything that I've fixed or everything that I've broken. I'm gonna fix, and we're gonna cover it all. It's gonna be a pretty quick fix in the sense that I'm not gonna go over it just like my mod videos, and we're not gonna go step by step. I'm gonna bang it out and show you guys the results. So we're gonna fix pretty much almost everything except for one item that I need to take to a shop to get some welding done. But other than that, we're gonna fix everything in this video. So stay tuned and let's go down and let's see exactly what I messed up this time. So the first thing, after washing off the Jeep, I took off my synthetic winch cable and I gave it a good cleaning because it was full of mud and sand and all kinds of just nastiness. And trust me, after getting stuck because of snapping a winch cable, you learn that cleaning your winch cable will keep it from dying. That was literally the reason that mine broke. I never cleaned it, and this one has lasted me probably already 3 or 4 times as long, and I've cleaned it many times. But definitely that's one thing that you need to do. And my winch has been making tons of noise, so that was also another reason I took it off. I needed to take a look at the winch. And that brings me to my next point, the winch. So the winch is making all kinds of noises. If you see, so it definitely doesn't sound healthy. So I took the cable off and I took it to 4-wheel parts. And lucky enough for me, I still had a year left on my warranty. So there is a brand new winch right there for me in my passenger seat. I got this from 4-wheel parts when I went to do my tires. That's the next thing that I was going to mention. I had pretty much every single tire leaking. I had this valve leaking. I think you guys remember that one. So we got a new valve. We got all of the tires taken off the beads and resealed, because if you remember, we kind of lost the bead a few times, and basically there was a lot of dirt inside the tire, and that's not good for anybody, not good for your balance, not good for anything, but it was basically leaking around the bead. A few of them more than the others, but we needed to address it, and we got it all done. So I got my tires rotated. I rotated in my spare, so that one is actually right here. So this is a fresh tire. Now we've got basically 20% more tire life because of that, because we rotated in the spare. Now all of the tires are taken care of. The next thing that I broke was this body mount. You can see it's just spinning, and that's because the stud actually broke off at the top, and I believe it got a little bit bent. So we're gonna have to get that addressed. That's not something I can do myself here. I'm gonna have to go to a shop and get that taken care of. Not a big deal, it is something we can do. We did beat the crap out of the skid plate. You can see it's definitely had some abuse, but that's still holding up and we don't have any vibrations. So the next mods after all my repairs are done is going to be a slip yoke eliminator and a tummy tuck. Get rid of these spacers, get a new skid plate, probably aluminum, and get something that brings everything right up so we get a little bit more clearance. That way we can clear a bit more obstacles. Now, on to the next thing that I broke. The other body mount. So this body mount, you can see is spinning. So we're gonna have to get a tack weld on this one, or a full weld, whatever I can manage to get. I need to go to a shop. If I go to a shop, I'm gonna get a full weld, obviously, but if I have to do it quick somewhere, then we'll just tack it up, whatever we need to do to get it done. Now, I'm gonna replace the winch, but we also need to replace the radiator. If you remember from the last video, we overheated pretty bad while doing one of our hill climbs at the end there. And honestly, I thought it was just overheated. It just got a little bit too stressed. But it overheated on the way home a few more times, and it also overheated a few more times on the way and back from 4-wheel parts. So I decided it's time to change everything out because I've washed it as best as I could. Like, there's no mud left in the rad. Obviously the rad is beat to shit, but that's because I had a rad, I replaced it when it blew. Then when I destroyed that rad, I replaced it with a used one because that's what we had at the time. Now this used one is giving up on me, so I'm putting in another new one. So I'm gonna be on my 4th rad on this thing in 3 years. I know, but it is what it is. So I got a new rad, I got new hoses, I got a thermostat and a water pump. So basically anything that has to do with the cooling in the front, other than the heater core, we're gonna replace. So we're gonna do a full overhaul of the cooling system. It should be pretty much top notch at that point, and just in time for summer. So that's on its way. Those parts I'm waiting for. This I'm gonna bang out in a second. And now let's get to the last thing on my list, or actually second last, because I also have some lights that I'm gonna throw on over here. I picked up a few lights, so I'm gonna just slap them on so we have a little bit extra lighting. But the last thing I need to replace after I clean up my floors is these seat belts. From swamping and going through water crossings and just flooding the inside of the Jeep many times, I screwed up my seat belts. They no longer retract properly. That one still retracts. Obviously the back ones are good because I didn't fill the tub with water like 2 feet high. It basically just filled up probably around to this level. So it covered the seat belts pretty good. So what I have to do now is replace the entire seatbelt mechanism. That is one thing that I will be doing in a separate video because I have something special planned for that. I have actually some custom seatbelts coming in a different color. They're going to be pretty cool. I think it'll look pretty nice in here. And I got them for the same price I would have if I bought gray or black. So I said, why not? Let's jazz it up in here. So first things first, we're going to take care of that winch. Then we're going to move on and we're going to take care of the cooling system. Then I'm going to do the lights. But since I'm still waiting for the cooling system, I have most of the parts. I'm just waiting on the radiator and the water pump. Now I think I might throw on the lights, but let's bang this out. Let's get this replaced and let's see if the new one sounds any better.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain, I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints, money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague, we all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name, all our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be, living in a time where disease is on every screen, I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering, negativity is a plague for the mentally weak, no mercy, all I got is working, never stop searching, never quench the thirsty, I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic you can't stop it, it's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic. I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving, I could change the past with all I'm achieving, got my foot on gas, never stop competing, if you break like glass then this life's gonna eat and make mistakes real fast.
And just like that, the old winch is in the box. And I know it looks a little bit mangled. Actually, I should probably keep this bracketry as a spare. But basically, I tried to undo my wiring from the actual control box so that I could take it out and not have to redo my wiring all the way through to the hood. But I guess this was too much of a pain to get out. Like, to get this out was not gonna happen, and then think about it, I had to get this into the new one after getting the new one out, so I just saved myself a lot of headache and just rewired everything with brand new wires, and I think that's probably the smarter choice anyway. So now we've got fresh wires coming all the way from the winch to the battery, and we've got a fresh winch. This is attached a lot better now. The last one, the threads were all screwed up and it didn't want to attach right out of the box, so that's attached better now. The drum had a couple of nicks and scratches that I already painted. You can see in a couple spots just to make sure that it's good before I put my winch rope on. I felt it. There isn't any actual like sharp pieces or edges or anything that would catch the line, so I'm not worried about that. But I already took off the steel line. It did come with a steel line on it. The reason I took the steel line off already is because I have a synthetic line and I just rather use that. And since I have a brand new steel line, it's a good backup, or I can always give it to one of my buddies who doesn't mind running the steel line. And yeah, now we've got a new winch, new controller, everything is fresh. The reason I'm not putting on the synthetic line now is I don't want to run the engine until I get the radiator in. And that brings me to my next point. We just got our water pump. So I got myself a brand new water pump from Gates. We've got our thermostat, we've got our upper and lower radiator hoses, we've got our coolant. So we have pretty much everything but the radiator. And unfortunately, they're telling me it's gonna be like another 10 days for the radiator. It said 2-day shipping when I ordered it. It turned into like 14 days. Now I'm waiting. So hopefully it shows up on time, at least by their estimate. So let's move on to the next item. Let's do the lights. And since we can only work with the parts that we have, after the lights, we're gonna throw on these seat belts. And yep, that's right, they are green to match all the lighting that I have. So once we actually finish with the light at the front, we'll slap those seat belts on. And thanks to my girlfriend, she actually already cleaned up the entire carpet and everything. Like, it's not washed, but it's vacuumed. That's why it still looks a little bit dingy. But I'm not going to worry about washing it because it's going to get nasty again. I just wanted to clean up the dirt so that it's not actually filthy and nasty as I'm installing the seat belts. And as I have the new seat belts in, I don't want them to get destroyed right away. So like I said, let's do the lights, then we'll move on to those. If you guys remember, I used to have 2 of these KC lights, and now I have 1 left. The other one kind of got smashed and demolished. And instead of buying another set, I figured I'm just going to use it here as, excuse me, as like a work light or as just an extra light. And I don't really find myself using it much because it's probably in a bad position right under the bumper. But yeah, there was nowhere really to put 1 light. So what was I going to do? Just mount 1 light like a unicorn in the front? So I mounted it here just to use it as a work light. Like I said, I haven't used it much. I've used it maybe like twice on the trail. So I figured I'm going to take the lighting or the light off and use the wiring from these 2 lights, because they still have pretty good plugs, to wire up some lights right here. And these lights I'm going to run at a 45-degree angle, possibly even at a 90-degree angle, because I've got my big light bar on the top. That's 23,000 lumens. These guys are about 2,400 lumens. So these will be nice for a good side shot, just to get me all the rocks and everything that's going to be off to the side. So that's what these are going to be for. And I figured since I already have the wiring and all of the plugs and everything there, let's just reuse it. So should be a quick and easy install. So let's go, let's put these in and let's get it done.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the fucking hours it takes to get some power.
Now essentially I swapped over the plugs onto the new lights, and I'm gonna use my old plugs I should say. And I like these plugs because they are waterproof, and if I ever want to move these or if I want to remove them or whatever, it's nice and easy, and I have the option of taking them off and putting them back on. Now this light isn't going to get used, and if I ever need to, I can always just solder a plug back on there. So that's going to go into storage. Now I set them pretty much where I think I would want them. They're on like a little bit more than a 45, I would say, but that's pretty much how I want them. Because like I said, I have the light bar at the top to kind of aid me in the front, and it actually does cover probably like 180 degrees, but it's not perfect for the sides, and I would like something just to get me by. So this is going to be nice. Even when I don't want to light up the entire light bar, I'll have the headlights and I'll have these. So now I will route the wires a little bit better, but for now let's plug these in and let's test them out. And they look like they work great. There's a little bit of a patch there, but that's pretty much going to get covered by the headlights, as you guys can see now. I'm pretty satisfied with that, and you can see the difference if I turn them off. So it definitely gives you a nice wide view. And we're in a lit garage, so you're not going to be able to tell as much in here, but definitely once we get outside they should be plenty bright. And just standing there right now, I am already blind, but I think that should definitely help us out a lot on the trails. I'll call that a job well done. Now let's move on to the seat belts. And yep, I did get them in like a nice lime green, so hopefully they stay lime green for at least a little bit, but it is what it is. Oh, that was not tight at all. Wow, that was probably as tight as my drain plug on my oil pan, so that's great. Good thing I'm changing it out. So after a little bit of investigation and playing around, I figured it out. What's happening in here is you have a positive and a negative wire coming in, and when you put your seatbelt buckle in, it breaks the circuit, meaning it thinks that your seatbelt buckle is plugged in. So when you cut it off like this, it actually thinks your seatbelt buckle is plugged in. And I'll show you guys on the dash real quick. So right now, it thinks that the seat belt is plugged in, if you look at the dash. And if I connect these two wires together, or connect them using this, it thinks your seat belt is off. And as soon as I let go of these two wires, your seat belt is on. So basically all I have to do is make sure these two wires don't touch. Simple enough. I just got to cut it back a little bit further, and I'm going to throw some heat shrink over that, and it should be good. I decided to separate them just so that they have no chance of touching inside of the heat shrink, and now I'm just sealing them up so that nothing gets to the wires and they don't corrode away. Well, I wasn't expecting to do more wiring, but it's in. Now we've got one more on the other side, and one bolt here, one bolt underneath the actual retractor, and we're pretty much done on this side. There we have it. It is complete, and I think it looks great. I love the color, especially against the yellow. It looks awesome. Now let me actually sit down and see how it works. It's a little finicky. It doesn't like coming out too quick. So it's a little touchy. If you go too quick, it locks you right in. But if you move slowly, or like you normally would, then it's perfectly fine. You can see But as soon as you make a, which is what you want, because if you're about to go through the windshield, it's better to get stuck. So I think it works great. I'm honestly super happy with the color. I'm super happy with how it looks. Now let's throw on the other one real quick, and we should be done with the mods for today. And it cleans up pretty damn good in here. I honestly cannot complain. Like I said, the carpets need to be washed, but all the thick stuff is gone. All the actual mud is gone. It's just a little bit of dust that's left in the actual carpet fibers. And as for this, so that this doesn't turn into that, I think I'm gonna hit it with like a Scotch Guard or something just to protect it a bit. I know they're not gonna last. I know they're gonna get dirty and disgusting. But like I mentioned earlier, it's the same price to get gray or black, so why not spice it up a bit? Why not give it a little bit of flavor in here? And honestly, it looks sick. I think it looks great with the yellow and the green. Lemon and lime kind of matches really nice. I like it. And the reason I got the green was because of the lights. So I think it flows really well. Let me know what you guys think. But overall, I'd say it was a successful video. New winch, new lights, we got the tires all taken care of so none of them are leaking. I also went and removed my tire extender. Since I did the body lift, I have a little bit of extra room between the bumper and the tire. You can see there's not too much, but just enough space that we can actually get everything closed and everything shuts properly. And if you guys remember, I had to lift my tailgate before to close it. I used to have to hold on to the tire, give it a little bit of a lift, and then close it because of the weight of the tire being so far out. It was actually offsetting my hinges. And now, she closes. She closes good. So I'm happy with that. And I actually think that this should be a lot better. It's not gonna rattle as much or vibrate as much. So I'm happy with that. It's a lot closer to the body as it should be. And I'd say that's pretty much it for today. I'd call that a successful day. And the next video, or possibly the next video, maybe I might have to wait a little bit longer than that, but I'm waiting for the radiator. So we still got the water pump, the thermostat, and the radiator whenever it shows up. And as soon as that comes, I will post that for you guys. But I think I will be doing a couple other mods and a couple other things that I want to refresh before we hit the trails in May. So definitely stay tuned for that. I have a couple things planned for the Big Bird over here. And I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up for today's mods. And I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video as well, because I don't have much else to show you guys or much else to really do to the Jeep. And I think it's time to go get a haircut. I've been neglecting it for a little bit too long. And the weather is starting to warm up, even here in Canada, believe it or not. So yeah, time to go get a haircut, time to go freshen myself up, freshen the Jeep up, and that's it. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please drop me a like, drop me a comment, let me know what you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next one. So jump down there, hit that subscribe button, because trust me, there's tons more Jeep content and all kinds of content coming your way. So stay tuned, guys. Until then, ride safe out there. Peace.